Hi there, folks. Simon here. Welcome to another 7x7 Chandrian Invitational Tak Tournament match. This time between fwwwwwibib and Abyss. This is going to be a very big one. These guys are both top-ranked players. fwwwwwibib currently ranked number 1 on PlayTak. Abyss ranked number 2 on PlayTak, not too far behind. But beyond that, we also see here on the overall tournament rankings for the Chandrian Invitational, we have 1 game left to play for Abyss, and that's this one. 2 games left to play for fwwwwwibib, that's this one and the next one. And we see that they are both tied at 3 points. If Abyss goes on to win this game, he goes to 4 wins and going to 8 points total. If fwwwwwibib wins this game, he goes to 4 points, and he will win no matter what happens on the next game. So if he wins this game, he will win first place. If Abyss wins this game, it may go to tiebreak between fwwwwwibib and Abyss, depending on how the fwwwwwibib and Gwelja game turns out. So this is a very important game in determining who is going to come out on top in this Chandrian Invitational Tournament. Now, going back over the rules for this tournament, it is a 7x7 tournament. And with those rules, of course, we have 2 capstones, which is the big difference between 7x7 and 6x6. Sure, there is a center square here, but the 2 capstones is really the big difference. Additionally, we have a 15-minute time limit and a 20-second increment. So that means they have 15 minutes on the clock and 20 seconds added to their time after every turn they take. So that is a lot of time, and Abyss will likely be spending most of his 15 minutes on the first 20 turns or so, and then playing on that 20-second increment for the rest of the game. So we should be jumping right in here any second now. So let's jump right into this 1-game match between fwwwwwibib and Abyss in this 7x7 Chandrian Invitational Tak Tournament. All right, and the first move placed here is in A1. Let's see if they go for adjacent corners, opposite corners, or something else. Maybe the hug. The hug being that opening where they place right next to that starting stone. I know I said Abyss likes to take his time in the first moves, but not exactly on the very first move here. So he does place up here at G7 for the opposite corners. And then fwwwwwibib immediately goes for that center control. I think that center control, again, very strong. And I don't know if there's anything stronger than that initial placement for white in 7s. White immediately going over for the vertical line. If black continues along here, white is content to just keep playing, has momentum. If black plays off to the side, white can play off to this side. Continue on with the momentum there. So black has decided to play for this sort of mirror, ready to come down, and then white's playing here. Black will eventually probably play a capstone over here somewhere along this line, maybe on their own, but likely on this side, to be able to come over and really mess up what white has been building toward. Black could, however, play a capstone here, maybe on C6, and then white may decide to do something else, but I think black may be content to play 1 more flat here on C6 before dropping a capstone maybe here on E4. They do have 2 capstones, important to remember. And that second capstone is pretty strong and can also get in your own way in some places. So you got to be able to keep track of both of those capstones. Make sure you're not blocking yourself. So black plays a flat here instead of a capstone, and white plays the first capstone down right here at E4, stopping black from placing along this side even more, maybe with another capstone. Really wants to make that connection here. This is able to move towards a horizontal line, move towards a vertical line. I think it's a pretty strong position. Again, these are top players, so just going straight ahead for this road right away, making a threat, wouldn't really do much. It would be easily stopped, and not much would come of that. So white here playing for the position with that capstone stack, getting really close to that centerpiece, really able to keep black from interrupting everything that they've got going on. So I think that white's making a smart move here, dropping that first capstone. We saw in yesterday's game, I think it was Ali versus Gowelja, if I'm not mistaken, there was all three capstones, or the first three capstones were placed before move 6, I think. So, pretty crazy. So we got both capstones here now dropped on move 6. And white now switching gears, going for this horizontal line. Now, this is a good play here, going for that horizontal that cuts off black from going for that vertical line that they've been building toward. But also, white has this white capstone here ready to come across. If black cuts it off up here, white just places up above at e6 and continues that line. Black can cut that off by playing off to the side here at b6. And it's exactly what they do. Playing off here, going up for the vertical still, b7, b5, playing along that side. That's a smart play here. White now, instead of playing up above, decides to play down at b5. Now this is interesting because this is a pretty defensive move, but it also works offensively. It plays in your head initially as a defensive move, but it comes off as offensive as well because of this opportunity that white has to build now at a5 or at a6, and either of those would allow this b5 to be part of that horizontal line. And so black may be building for this vertical here, playing up at c7, so they can come over with b6, but white can continue on, maybe build here at f4, g4, and a5, a6. Ooh, instead dropping that second capstone here. Really powerful position for that second capstone. And it's a really powerful position because this capstone can come over and cut off this entire black vertical threat that black's been building toward. And so that's really all they've got going on here. Black can maybe try to switch toward a horizontal down below, but there's not much going for him in terms of horizontal any other way. So this is basically everything. And white's able to cut all of that off with that one capstone placement. Really strong move there. Again, playing for that positioning for later on in the game, not necessarily worried about the immediate threats that are happening so early. I mean, we're at turn number 10 right now, so not that big of a deal. I am surprised, however, that white went for the capture here instead of making a placement. It seems like white could have waited for the following turn before making that capture. White could have placed here at a5, could have placed at a6, before making the capture, waited for black to make that threat and then come on over. But they're doing that now, which I find interesting. They may decide to play a white flat here at b4, make that connection here with these two capstones. This flat is basically protected, and so white can continue to build at f4 now and g4 and kind of go for this line using these two capstones as that solid position right there in the middle of the board. I think that's a pretty strong position, this sort of cross formation, this plus, with the capstone on either side. It's really difficult to attack this centerpiece here on d4. So black now placing here at b4, saying, all right, fine, I get it. You wanted to build across here. I'll stop you there. But white still has that position now. Playing at a5, white can now come down with c5, with c6 onto c5, or up with c4 onto c5 and make that connection. White now playing at e6 after black comes over, ready to cut this off. That capstone doesn't do everything that he wants it to do, though. e6 playing up at the top now is playing towards this horizontal threat going up here, playing up to the g7. Gonna be tougher for black to stop this. Black does probably want to get that second capstone into play here pretty soon. Black now has to be worried because playing up here at f6 would just lead to white playing down here at f4. Playing at f4 likewise would end up with white playing at f6. Black wants to get in the thick of things, but if they toss this capstone up here into maybe d5, then white just continues to build for this horizontal using this capstone line over here. So a tough position here for black. I think maybe a capstone here at d7, while risky and being along the edge of the board, is kind of a painful position. I think it's what he ultimately needs to do. Come down with this. Or he could, I'm just seeing this one, come with c5 left, cut that off, and then white doesn't have any anchor point onto that side of the board. Black can then maybe place it b7 first before making that move. Tough to say. But I think that c5 left is going to be a move that he's going to be making here pretty soon. All right. Again, Abyss taking a lot of time here. He is known for taking a lot of time in the first 20, 25, 30 turns, and then playing on the increment for the rest of it. Fwib here above 17 minutes at 17.5 minutes on the clock, and they started with 15, and he's gotten above that with that 20-second increment, whereas Abyss down here almost at 11 minutes on the clock. That's 6 minutes between these two players. That is a pretty crazy difference in time. And so Fwib is building up that buffer to be able to use that time later on in the game. Whereas Abyss is focusing on his positioning now so that he can have a good position to work from in the future. But I gotta tell you, White's position seems very strong to me right now. Fwib is playing an excellent game, and there's a reason that Fwib has been is the reigning champion from the Tak 6x6 tournaments. And it looks like Black played off here at b3, trying to go for this vertical line and eventually cut off with the c5. White was very keen, knew exactly what they were going for, pops on up there with that capstone and captures, keeps c5 from coming left and completing that threat. Now Black has to worry about this dual threat here. And Black could, again, drop a capstone here or here. It's not too late to do that, because White won't be able to make a threat now. It's not making a threat now. White has to make a threat on the next turn. And so Black has some time to cut that off. So a capstone here at a6 or down here at a4. a6 I think is better. Those would work out just fine. Yeah, Fwib's position is just really, really strong here. And Fwib, in addition to being the reigning champion from 2020, if I'm not mistaken, he also won the 2021 Tak Open that qualifies him. I mean, he was already qualified for the Tak Championship that happens later this year, 2022. But he won that Tak Open anyway, allowing the second, third, and fourth places to be qualified for that Tak Championship. So Fwib definitely a force to be reckoned with here, consistently showing some really, really strong play. And it looks like Abyss did decide to drop that capstone here at a6, ready to come down onto a5 and cut off White's anchor point on this half of the board. White may decide, and I think this is a smart play here, to play up at e7. And my reasoning for that is this. e7, while it's not a diagonal threat, which we like to make because then it forces a capture, is working towards a vertical line in addition to the horizontal. We know that this Black capstone can come down onto a5 at any moment and ruin this horizontal line. However, playing here at e7 allows White to switch gears to the vertical just as easily and force a response from black in terms of this horizontal at the same time. So it kind of gives white a little bit of breathing room. And that's exactly what they do. They place there at e7. All right, I feel good about my analysis now, knowing that fwib made the move that I was suggesting. That makes me feel good. All right, so e7 was played. Now black comes down with the capstone. Will white now play here at e3? Playing at e3 again would be that vertical line, and he's going for it here. White can also decide to play over here at a6 at some point to go for that horizontal line, but he's got to connect here at f7 first if he wants to do that. But currently, he does have this vertical line working for him. He does have momentum as well. Being able to place here at e2 on the next turn would give him attack threat. And black needs to make 2 plays before black can make attack threat. That would be probably a capture over and a placement here at c1. So, yeah, there's a lot to be done here. Black still needs to cut this off. Will they place a flat here at e2? Tough to say. Will they decide to capture up, maybe with e5? It wouldn't be a long-term solution. They could decide to just drop a wall here at f7 and capture left, or a wall here at d7. There's a lot that could happen here. White's positioning is very strong, though. Been doing a fantastic job. All right, black content to play at d2, interestingly enough. Not quite sure why d2 here. Solidifying this position, I understand, with the citadel, but I mean, white's going to make the attack threat now. I guess black is setting up to be able to capture over after placing an e1, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, no, he comes over with the capstone. Smart play, smart play. Okay, now I see it. Now he, with this capstone over here, is working for this horizontal line. Smart play. I really like that move. Playing now at d3 for white, filling in. White wants to be able to play at d1 on the next turn, make that attack threat yet again. Black, however, is likely able to make some other plays. Maybe black wants to play at a4 or a3, make this horizontal connection line. Instead, they come down with the capstone onto that e1 spot, or e2 spot, sorry. Wow. All right, that's a tricky position now. Black still seems to be going for that horizontal line, but thrashing up and down, or up and around with this capstone stack seems to be counterproductive, but I don't think that it is as bad as it seems. I think that black is able to really take back some of the momentum that white has been building toward and keep white from making this vertical line over here. White would have to build around this black capstone now, playing probably at f2 to start that off so black doesn't get ahead of them. But then, if that happens, black then plays maybe at e1, which would play around it. Then white potentially plays at f1. Then black plays at b7 for the tack threat. So, for the vertical tack threat, that is. And so, there's a lot that can be done here for black. Definitely not out of the game yet. We can see there's a reason why Abyss has been a top player in this community for so many years. All right, we see white playing a wall here at b2. Very defensive move, very strong move also. Able to cut off basically all of the threats that black has been working toward. Black can, however, I think maybe playing at c1 here is the best move. This works towards the vertical threat like this, and may cause black to come right or come up with that. And then if it comes right after c1, then black can play maybe at a2 for that, or just fill in at b2. If it comes up, then white can play, or black can play at b1, going for the horizontal line. So there's a lot going on here, but this wall does a really good job of being able to cut those off. I think c1 and a3 are the strong moves here, because they do work both for the horizontal and vertical threats. And it's a strong position, though, for both players, so I think we're going to see some really strong play here in the next couple turns, and definitely going to see Abyss taking more of his time, down to 7.5 minutes now. They have 9 minutes between them. Fwib's still above that start time of 15 minutes, which is nuts to me. All right, he does decide to play here at a2 instead, and white goes ahead and plays at a3. All right, f2 now played from black, ready to go for this horizontal line. He can capture up with a2 onto that spot, or place at a4, or capture down with b6. Any of those would connect on this half of the board, but he's got to make a connection here at g2. I think we may be seeing this wall come over at some point. If it does, I think black may switch gears, just fill in here at b2, go for that vertical line. But now it seems like black has taken charge and is really directing where this game is going, and forcing some moves, forcing some defensive moves specifically out of white. All right, and instead we see an e4 left. Ooh, okay. White making that hard capstone, able to come down or come left here. Strong position, strong piece here with the hard capstone, able to smash walls and still retain threats. But I think really what he wants to do is get this capstone in the mix of things down here and really mess up what black's going for. Black does make that horizontal tack threat. Will white come down with this stack? If he does, he leaves behind 2 here. Now, black wouldn't want these to come over, so he may decide to capture up. But I don't think he will, because it would allow this capstone to come back up. This is a tough one. It is a tough one for sure. White made a great play with that, knowing he could bring this capstone down onto d2 and leave behind a formidable stack here, able to come across and make a really strong flat count differential move. Flat count differential, again, talked about in the Tak University video about flat count differential, or FCD. This would be a +3 move, and if you're like, what's +3 move? Go check out that Tak University video, and that will explain everything for you. So black just dropping a wall there, ready to come down onto d3, and I think white's going to make that move of 2d3 left 1-1, which is play portable tack notation, which is over here. And if you're unfamiliar with portable tack notation, or PTN, it is very simple, very easy to learn. And I also have a video about that on Tak University as well. And it looks like he does go for the 2d3 left 1-1 move, spreading that stack across and covering these up. The only problem with that move is it does create liabilities for white. Black able to come down at some point with a wall, a capstone, maybe even a flat, and recover these flats, liberate them, and have a much more powerful position with those pieces. A second wall is dropped here from black, taking no chances, really wants to come down onto c3 and recover those liabilities. Liberate those captives. Strong, strong positioning. All right, what is black gonna do now? White played up at f7, going for that horizontal line. Currently no tack threat, but easily making a tack threat on the next turn with a6. Black gonna have to do something about that. Ooh, black coming over with that capstone. Not coming down with c4 first. Just gonna go straight with that capstone move. This is turning out to be quite interesting, I must say. Now, I'm looking at the possibility of white deciding to toss up and smash here at d5. While that would be a tack threat, it would be easily stopped, but I like fun moves, even if they're not the best ones. Which is probably why I'm not as good as Fwib or Abyss. They like to play really good moves, and they're very good at spotting them, knowing what to play when. So white decides to play up here at b7 instead of my risky and probably ill-advised move of smashing up at d4. And this is building towards that tack threat here, going up at a7 and then probably eventually at d7 to make that threat. Let's see. We can see they have 10 minutes between their time here. Fwib still above the start time with 15 minutes, taking on average less than 20 seconds per turn. Abyss well below that at 5 minutes on the clock. But again, that is just how he rolls. We see he does run out of time and get pretty low, down around move 30, and he's at 24 right now at 5 minutes. And so in the next 5 or 6 turns, we'll see him getting pretty low and then probably playing at around the 1 or 2 minute mark on his clock for the rest of the game. I don't know how he does it. Being low on time stresses me out. Even if I have 5 minutes on the clock, I start to stress out quite a bit around time. So black now content to play at a6, and that helps cut off white's ability to make threats. White playing now at a7, wants to play probably at d7 at some point in the near future to really solidify that position and make that threat. Currently, no tack threat for white that I'm able to see, at least. This horizontal line isn't the strongest of lines up here. Because of these two black flats here at b6 and a6, able to come up and kind of ruin what black's been doing, and this capstone able to come up as well. Also c7 able to come left onto b7, kind of go for this vertical line. There's a lot going on here. I would still say white is in control of the game right now, but black is certainly not out of it. Let's take a look at the flat count as well. While we're well away from any sort of flat win, whether it be by board fill or running out of reserves, it's good to keep track of flats the whole time. I know both of these players do keep track of flats the entire game. So let's take a look and count for ourselves here. 12 for white. Now 10 for black, but plus 2 komi takes it to 12 for black. So black placing a flat here on this turn would mean black has a slight advantage in terms of flat count. However, it looks as if white has one fewer reserve than black, so white would be able to determine when the game ends in terms of flat count, running out of reserves. So, I don't know. They're pretty even in terms of flat count right now is what I will say. And that is going to change dramatically, I'd say, in the next 5 turns or so. We have walls able to come down, liberate captives. We've got tag threats going to be made left and right, Abyss down to 3 minutes on the clock. A lot of stuff is going to be happening in the next several turns, and I think fwwwwwib is going to finally start taking quite a bit more time and use up a lot of his buffer in the next 10 or so turns as well. All right, and we see the d4 plus bring that wall upwards, which doesn't really do anything for this horizontal threat, but keeps white from coming up and smashing on d4, I guess, for the vertical, or for the horizontal here. I am intrigued by that. White filling in here at d4 instead of playing at d7, which I find interesting as well. d7 would have been attack threat in the horizontal direction. Maybe this wall move would have done something up here, but I don't think it would. I think black would have to do something off to this side. Black comes up with this wall stack. I think white was counting on being able to smash it at some point, but white coming up, or black coming up with that really hurts him. I think white needs to play at d7 at some point. I'm not sure why he hasn't filled in at d7. That just seems like the obvious play here. But instead we see white playing at d5. Looks to be going for... I mean, it is going for this horizontal line down here at a3 connection. But I mean, there's the wall there. Sure, it also goes for the vertical as well with the b7 right onto here going in this direction. But like, that is an interesting spot here that he's got. And I find it very odd that he didn't play up at d7 a couple turns ago. Because right here, when this wall is here, playing at d7 is a threat, and black coming up with this wall wouldn't stop anything. Black would have had to capture on this half of the board, this little section over here. Didn't do that. Instead, white focused on this area down below. Black now finally comes down with this wall onto c3, ready to liberate the captive, potentially liberate the captive here on b3 as well. Now, white could, I don't know why, but white could smash here on c3. I don't think that would be a good play. White could just play a flat on d3. Go for the vertical here. No. Okay, that was an interesting move. You pretty much never... Okay, I was going to say, you never see that. I think it was a misclick. They communicated it. Abyss was kind enough to offer the undo. I think white was planning on smashing that wall stack. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. So it looked like he moved the whole stack down, but he misclicked, meant to smash. And Abyss was nice, letting him undo that clearly misclicked move. So now, he did decide to smash. This is not a attack threat in either direction. Black takes that stack, moves it across. This is close to attack threat for black. Black able to play here at e3 or at c4, and that would be a horizontal attack threat, going all the way from a6 down to g2. Which is a little bit of a loop-de tack there. Let's see, what is the move that white wants to make next? And I think that'll tell us what black's going to do in order to stop that from happening. White, Does white want to bring the capstone back up? Oh. Okay, so white tosses this capstone up. Again, still no attack threat, but white is now in a position to be able to smash on d6 which would be a attack threat. White is also in a position to make some positive flag on differential moves. And I think he wants to smash d6 here. This is a very interesting game. Definitely some... Ooh, okay. Black defending, playing e3 is a defense. He's trying to defend against white smashing this. If white were to smash this stack on d6, he would have to leave behind a black flat on d5. That would allow black to, on the following turn, just place here at c5 and win with a road. So now white is unable to smash this, not because black blocked with a wall or anything, but because black threatened a road. Interestingly, white now playing off here at f4. Now that works because f4 can come left onto e4 and make it so white can smash this. Also, f4 works because now white can play at g4 and start going for this horizontal here. And I think all of that depends on what black does on this turn. I think white does want to smash that wall on d6, that's for sure. It's a juicy stack. Not Tinue, but a juicy stack for certain. Black plays off at g4, white now playing up at f5. Looks like white may have been trying to make that connection over to g4. If black plays at g5 now, white plays at f6 and makes that horizontal connection. And also creates a citadel here and strengthens this position. And it's already a strong position. Only that wall there is able to come over onto e6. White still has the ability to place at d7 and make attack threat as well. Black now playing instead at a4. This is able to come down onto a3 and cut off this horizontal anchor point. But I don't think white is going to be too concerned about that. We may see f5 left happen, which would be attack threat in the horizontal direction. Able to come down with d4. No, strengthening the position first. With f6. I was liking the f5 left because that would have created a horizontal attack threat all the way down here. And then if black, I guess black may have taken this wall stack to the right to stop it, and that would have stopped white from being able to smash here. I think that's probably why he didn't go for that move. Didn't want to encourage this wall stack to move because he does want to eventually smash that. Black now plays at c5. Now this, even if white were to make the f5 left move, he wouldn't be able to smash because it would leave a road opportunity here for black as well. Smart plays, smart plays. And I'm not seeing any attack threat for black. White could make attack threat just by placing here at c4 or again at d7. Does play at d7. This is going to probably have c7 come left. Definitely doesn't want to go right. No, he does take c7 left. And again, let's take a look at the time here. 14:40 on the clock. Abyss has been below 1 minute. Because again, he gets 20 seconds added to his clock, so he was at about 43 seconds when he made his past move. So he has been down low on time here for the last couple moves and really, really just putting in some work, doing some great moves here with so little time. It's amazing to me how well he can do that. White now surprisingly not playing here at c4, playing at c1. c4 again would have been attack threat. c1 not a threat, but looks like he may be building towards a bidirectional threat. Black filling in there at c4 instead. No attack threat for black. Strong positioning though, strong positioning. Black really just trying to keep white from making those moves that white really wants to make. Let's take a look at the flat count as well. White is down much lower on reserves, it looks like, by a few, 2 or 3. Let's make the count. 14 for white. $19 for black. Holy cow, black has a huge flat count advantage. However, white does have 2 +3 moves available to him. That would be +6. Excuse me. +6 in total. White now playing here at d2. Black down to 44 seconds on the clock. It's so stressful for me. For me even, just to watch that. Okay, I see why white played here at d2. Black playing at d2 would have been attack threat, throwing this capstone all the way down, smashing at b2. Really smart to be able to spot that for white, and also really smart to be able to try to plan that out for black. So really well done there. Black decided to go for the a4 minus move, capturing down here, cutting off this line. White comes over with the wall, ready to come up and liberate the captive here on a3. Again, no attack threat currently. I like maybe... Oh, he drops a wall here instead. I was thinking maybe he would come over with to a3, but he didn't. He dropped a wall instead. Smart play. I liked 2a3 because white couldn't come left with the capstone, as that would allow black to make a horizontal road. White now, again, using that buffer time, just barely below 13 minutes on the clock, whereas Abyss has been down below a minute for the past several turns. White now playing down here at d1. This is not attack threat, but playing here at f3 on the next turn will be attack threat. So any captures that go on over here, basically. Black playing at f3 now, keeping white from playing there at f3, which is clearly what white was going for, and black able to spot that. I'm amazed at what black is able to see with so little time on the clock. And black, while white seems to have a really strong position here and is kind of pushing the direction of this game, black is well in the lead in terms of flat count. And black has some strong positions and is building for roads. Black finally coming up with that wall, b2 to b3. White comes up with their own wall. Of these two wall stacks, only white is able to make a positive flat count differential move of a +2 here. I think black may want to play here at b2. b2 seems good to me. Plays at b1 instead. Going for this horizontal line, playing from a1 all the way over here, able to bring this capstone left or this flat stack down. Make the connection here for the road threat along the bottom. White can stop it, but at what cost? Will it cost them a better flat count differential move later on when they desperately need it, with how strongly the flat count is in favor of black right now? Again, 15 for white. $19 for black, and that is including komi. White has a +3, +3, and a +2 move available. But saving those until his reserves are lower and he can force a flat win, or waiting until the board is closer to filled so he can force a flat win there. Doesn't want to make those moves too early. If he does make those moves too early, it just gives black the opportunity to recapture and come farther ahead in flats. Oh man, this is a tough one. White taking a lot of time here. Black not able to take nearly as much time as white is able to take on all these turns. What is the play here for white? White doesn't want to have to drop a wall here, that's for sure. This is a tough one. It is a tough one. White comes down with the capstone. This is a attack threat for white. Coming left with f5 would be a vertical road threat. And that was a +2 move. White can renew the threat by coming down with the capstone or coming left with f5. It is 15-17 in terms of flat count. Black is leading. Or 15-18, sorry. Yeah, 15-18. Black in the lead. White can make this +3 move here and a +2 move here. This is a tricky position. White drops a wall here at e2. Potentially falling further behind in flats, but cutting off Black's ability to make a road in this horizontal down below. Black now down to 30 seconds on the clock, fills in here at b2. Not able to make this, so this would have been a attack threat if this weren't a wall and this weren't a capstone. He'd be able to make this drawbridge threat to the left or right. Not able to do that at this time because of the blockage going on either side. But this is a strong position here for Black. He can make a threat with e5 left here on the next turn, able to make a threat in the horizontal direction. May want to place at g3 first. He's not stopping any threat of white. He's got room to be able to play at g3 on the next turn here. White playing a wall up at c7, ready to come over onto b7 and make a +2 move. Really wants to get that flat count game in right now and mess up Black's ability to make this vertical threat. Black, afraid of that wall, really doesn't want that to happen, moves that stack to the left. And that was, I'd say, a good move here because it forces white to do something they probably don't want to do. And that's move this wall left or throw this wall all the way up to a7. None of those things are things that white wants to do here. That is, if white is focused on capturing this stack at a7, which I'm assuming they are. Assuming they want to do that. And he likely doesn't want to throw this up because then this isn't available for the +2 move here. He would be able to recover some here, but let's see. 1, 1, 1, that. And so we'd have a black here, a double black here. Double black could come right. And then, but that wall will come down. Okay, so then this black could come down. I'd say that's probably a net positive here. I'd say that's a net positive to be able to throw a3 all the way up to a7. Unless I'm missing something. I don't think it makes him lose. He does go for it. All right. Close to making him lose, though. If Black plays at b7 now, he's got attack threat with the drawbridge here. It's a risky move, and I really like it. Black down to 24 seconds on the clock. He moves the wall over, makes the attack threat. White not able to spread this wall stack down because that would lead to a loss. White needs to do something to stop this threat up here. Brings this capstone left. Oh, goodness. What is Black's response here? Again, he's got 20 seconds left on the clock here. It doesn't look like there is attack threat from white. Black plays up at b7, getting the anchor point here. No tack threat from black currently. White is able to spread this down if they want to. Is able to take a4 to the right if they want to. Well, there's a lot going on here. Only 6 free spaces left on the board. Again, if the board fills up, the game does end and they go to flat count, which I should really be keeping track of this, but I'm not. Let's take a look at what the flat count is again. 15 for white. $20 for black. Black ahead by 5 flats in this end game here. But white does have a +3 move here, a +4 move here, comes left with the wall onto b7. I didn't see a threat, but I think c2 plus would have been disastrous for white, so I think he had to have made that play now. Black filling in up at c7, ready to come right, make that again. Black can also come right with a6 to fill in. White comes up with the capstone. Again, not a tack threat. White cannot smash this wall. Smashing that wall would lead to a loss for white because black would spread this across for a horizontal tack threat. But white filled in here at a3, ready to come in and fill in at b3, going for this horizontal line themselves. Black now got to make a quick move here. Fills in at b3. White comes down with the capstone, making that tack threat. This is a horizontal tack threat coming down with e6 or coming left with f5. What is the play here for Abyss? He's down to 30 seconds left on the clock again. He brings that wall stack left. And at this point, white is able to smash that, but will they? Will white smash this? I don't think he will. I don't think it's a smart play at this point in the game. I think that smashing that may lead to Tinue for black, so don't do it. But, and again, I forgot the flat count, so I have to count again. 14 for white. 18, 20 for black, so 14 to 20. Black filling in at b4, 14 to 20. And I guess, oh no, E2 goes right. Why is E2 going right? That confuses me. All right, what am I missing? What's going on? And then the wall comes back to e2. Black plays again at f2. I'm confused. White doesn't want to run black's reserves down. Black is ahead on flats. What's the play? What am I missing? G5. And then G3 from black. G5 is a secondary anchor point for white's horizontal. Are we going to see an F4 left or something? I'm confused. I don't really know what's going on now. I know black's ahead on flats by a significant amount. I think by like 6. White now playing at E1. That's pushing it close to a board fill. And also running out of reserves. What is his plan here? Am I not seeing it? I don't think I'm seeing it. F1 from black. This game looks like black has it in the bag. Maybe not in the bag, but black's in a really strong position and it's going to be tough to stop it. We may see an E6 minus here in the next turn or two. To be 7 minus, bringing that wall stack down. Why? Why, oh why? Because he wants to smash this A3 stack, and he would only have to worry about the horizontal if that got walled. And he'd be able to spread this to the right to go for attack threat in the horizontal direction. Abyss gaining a little bit more time, up to 1:16 now on the clock. This is a tough one. I'm not sure what fwib can do here. It's a good thing he built up that time buffer so we can use this now to really think things through. Not everyone can think with so little time on the clock like Abyss. And again, this match has some big repercussions on the overall tournament. If Abyss wins this game, he goes to 4 points, or 4 wins rather, and he would be the only person at 4 wins. fwib has one more game after this one, actually scheduled for like 20 minutes from now, which is insane if he wants to play these back to back. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. But if Abyss wins this, he goes to 4 wins. If fwib wins his match against Gawelja after this, fwib will go to 4 points. And then they will have to play tiebreaker blitz 7s in order to determine who gets first and who gets second. But, yeah. if Abyss wins and Fwib loses his match against Goeldra, then Abyss wins outright. If Fwib wins this game, he wins the tournament outright. So yeah, this is big time, and we may be seeing the most exciting end. If Abyss does win this, that would be probably the most exciting finish. Another time when we have to see playoff blitz sevens, and Abyss was in that. He took second place last year, having to play these blitz playoff games against NohatCoder. And we, instead of seeing any sort of smash, we see this whole stack come up onto B4. And that, I guess, is to make the attack threat upwards with C3. I don't know about that. Black fills in B3. What is the play here? What was White's idea of bringing that capstone stack up? Pluto in the chat was saying White might as well have smashed here on A3 in the last turn because he's so out of options. White does make for that attack threat. Wait, where did Black play? Black brought the wall stack up. White filled in at C3 inexplicably. What is your plan here? I think White's gonna spread down and then make the smash. But Black playing at A3 stops that from happening, because then the smash would allow Black to spread right for the horizontal road. But after this spread, it wasn't taking that into account. Okay. I see it. I see it. White's going for some tricky stuff here. Black is seeing it amazingly spotting these threats. Black, no current attack threat. White, not able to make attack threat. White down to 1:30 on the clock now. Getting close to the Abyss's time. And I don't think anyone plays as well as Abyss when they're low on time. Maybe Morton. Morton also plays very well when he's very low on time, but... Alright, Fwib plays, brings that capstone stack down again. I think this has a full 7 pieces in the stack. Black fills in right at B4, unperturbed. White brings that stack down. 3 open spots on the board. Black down to 2 reserves. White with 4 or 5. Flat count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 19 for White. $20 for Black. 19 for White, 20 for Black. 2 spots left. Black has one more reserve. I think this is locked in as a win for Black. Black has 1 reserve left. Playing it will give them the win, I'm pretty sure. 19. Or not. It may not. Maybe it would be a draw. $19-19. Yeah. Playing this would give him the win. It would be 20-19. He's double checking on all his... Wait. He moved. I thought he had the win. Maybe he miscounted. He was low on time. He was low on time. All right. He saw it that time. White plays at B3. Black fills in, wins on flats. Wow, that was a crazy game. Really, really well played to both players. That was phenomenal attack. And man, you guys were neck and neck for so long. Again, amazed that Abyss played around 30 turns with less than a minute on the clock. I don't understand how he does that. And he still won against fwwwwwibib of all people. Like, that's crazy. Really, really well played to both players. Congratulations to Abyss. But again, well played to fwwwwwibib. That was insane. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to check out the description below for all things TAK, especially the TAK Discord server, which is the community hub and where you can find all sorts of resources about TAK, like strategy guides and whatnot, but also people to play with, whether that be on playtak.com or asynchronously right through the Discord itself. You can do that. Just play one move a day if you want to. It's a lot of fun. Great way to get in some TAK when you're limited on time. Anyway, that is all I've got for you right now. And until next time, have a great day and happy tacking.